Hey guys, stay tuned this week, possibly today, like right now. When I get in, I'm going to do a quick podcast on the fake news story that was generated by the Magistrate Pappas's drug court. When I was on the Melbourne drug court order, they were messing with the CCTV cameras with AI bot technology, and I'll run you through the story and I'll point out the fake news release, the whole lot, just so you know, for future, when the corruption actually genuinely gets exposed, I don't know, perhaps we get new government in, perhaps somebody in the government department realises enough, we've seen enough babies bounce down the Burke Street Mall and people haven't been held to account, maybe it'll start eating them alive, you know, some of the more decent drug court employees who were aware of it but were either too scared or didn't think it was that important, or perhaps were fooled into thinking that somebody genuinely needed to apologise to a very toxic, drug-addicted street prostitute who was being paid with the returned custody of her toddler. So the level of abuses and disgusting, abhorrent situations or events that I was exposed to at my time on the Melbourne drug court. It wasn't involved with the Melbourne drug court. It was often used by the system to get at me through the Melbourne drug court, while they were trying to turn the Melbourne drug court into like a conditioning reform school, literally. There was no emphasis on anything but them trying to get me to stop calling out the corruption I'd been exposed to while at the mercy of the Victorian law and order system. But in that, they got that arrogant and that like overzealous, I don't know. But they did they in effect documented, so they involved the mainstream media a lot. They documented their, and what they ended up doing was documenting their crimes. So in one of those situations, and I'll point it out very soon in a proper one with a back screen and show you the stories I'm talking to and how that story came about, they ran a fake news story. So when I pointed out to them how disgusting, you've just had me locked in a cell, in a civilian prison cell, and been using the same AI bot tech that they first developed in Guantanamo Bay, literally, as an approved information extraction technique. Now some animal, and these are left-wing, tolerant, inclusive government departments apparently, don't forget that. This is why I am how I am with the woke mind virus, with Elon's woke mind virus, because I've seen the hypocrisy. I've seen these left-wing government departments preaching all that diversity, equity, inclusion shtick, and then on the next breath they're torturing you, they're removing every freedom that you ever had, they're like literally weaponizing sex offences against you, and I mean literally, and they're even trafficking toddlers, like they're using toddlers as leveraging. I mean, come on mate, that is appalling from any government, but it definitely, and I mean, like if you heard a story of 1930s Germany government was dangling the return custody of their toddlers over the Jewish community's heads. Like, hey, like now, Jewish lady, if you want to see your child again, all you have to do is do this to a fellow Jew. If you heard a story like that, you'd be aghast. But it happened in 2025, Victoria, Australia, and those that know about it, the mainstream media, the child protection services, are too scared or too dodgy to call it out, one or the other, because either they're in on it or it can be no good reason for it not to be exposed. There's no good reason for something like that to be kept dirty in the dark. And you can have the names, times, dates, places, where's. You would at least think IBAC. Like, I definitely tick the IBAC box. More than happy to, more than happy to put my name to it and speak to. I didn't even get contacted by IBAC. I didn't even have one IBAC representative send me an email. Oh, would you like to have a conversation? How do you know this information, Mr. Caleb? Oh, yes, okay, really? Not once. Nothing. I just had this random weird email returned to me like, you've stumbled into some corruption, hey? You bloody smackhead homeless dude. You stumbled down the wrong alley there, didn't you? You don't know how dodgy things really are in Victoria, kid. Well, that doesn't sit well with me now, does it, son? Because people are dying. Women and children are freezing. Women are getting killed at increasing levels. And aside that, think about that. Think about what that poor drug addicted, dance monkey, dance. If you want to see your child back, you better dance. Dance, bitch, dance. That is sickening, ego-driven nonsense from a very damaged police force or police department. They're certainly not a force. Police department you'll ever hear of. You could see it in 1930s Germany, but here we have it in 2020s Victoria. And the magistrate papases are disturbed of that in on it. They're prepared to call it a sport and have a little chuckle at it. Oh, yuck.